The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Turn out the lights, the party's over. The party's over for the Pac-12. As it looks like all those elitists, those Tony wet diaper Altamores out there are having to eat some crow. They're probably ration up. Somebody might want to check on Tony, because I saw my buddy Cuz from Cuz's Corner sent me a little video where they pretty much threw his ass on the grill. I'll probably get John Canzano too, and they can have a couple of my listeners too that come in here from the elitist Pac-12 that were grilling me. The Western Civic boy that bet me $200 it just wouldn't happen. I bet I don't see that money. And then of course you had John. What was that guy's name? Larry Larry Sinking Boat Pilgrim from Utah, talking about how dare you think Utah would soil themselves by being in a conference with BYU again. Well, you might have to soil yourself with anybody, Utah, if you don't act pretty quick, because I'm here in Oregon State, or Oregon might be interested in that fourth spot that the Big 12 is looking at expanding to. Let's talk about it. Woo! It's another great day in the outlaw of college football neighborhood. And I can also be located on Twitter at OCF Productions. And as promised, as always, the Four Horsemen shout out of the day for the Outlaw Posse membership. That's right, and today's Four Horsemen riding on in with me, saddling up, mounting up, and helping me with this college football invasion are as follows: Alice Stokes, Daryl Madden, Dakota Green, and Richard Burton are saddled up and mounted up and ready to go. Now, getting right to it here. We've been talking about this for a few days now. A lot of those Pac-12 elitists were in denial, as I said in the lead up. And now we see that it's coming to fruition as of today. Colorado more than likely is officially done as a member of the Pac-12. And it's just ironic that the worst team in the Pac-12 is probably going to be responsible for taking down the Pac-12. The team that you allowed in from the Big 12 when they were trying to get away from Texas, as all the other teams were trying to get away from Texas as well. You allowed them in like a Trojan horse, and they took you down. They're going to be the ones that takes you down. And I saw a tweet today by Greg Swain from the Swain Show, and basically saying that the dominoes are about to fall. And once these dominoes start falling, they're done. Now, I did see also on 365 Sports where they were talking about maybe even Oregon might be interested in the Big 12. Now, I thought that Oregon and Washington would be pretty much Big 10 recruitment. I imagine the Big 10 would definitely try to block the Big 12 from getting those two. But as I said about the Greg Swain article, or the tweet, he seems to think that after Colorado, of course, a lot of people, Captain Obvious choice is Arizona, and then it gets a little tricky. He's saying Arizona State and then Oregon State. No Utah. Where's Utah in the mix and all that, Greg? I usually like and agree with a lot of Greg's stuff, but in my opinion, to me, I would rather have Utah than Oregon State. But that's just me. I mean, Utah has been very competitive. Oregon State was competitive last year. They went 10-3, but for the most part, over a period of 100 years, Oregon State as a program is not as good as Utah, not in my opinion. So that would be real interesting if Utah got left out. I almost wish Greg was right because of some of the stuff that the Utah people have been saying about being in the Big 12 and soling themselves being in the same conference as BYU again, which I have no idea why they think their shit don't stink and they're so much better than BYU, because they're not. Now, at least BYU's won a national championship in one of the two big money-making sports, 1984 college football. they'll try to take away from that too, by the way. But going back to 365 Sports, forget the guy's name they had on there. That's a pretty decent show too. Check it out. He was basically saying that the surprise team may not be Oregon State. It might be the other Oregon school. And that would be a huge get. If that were to happen, if Yormark were to pull that rabbit out of the hat, he'd be the greatest conference commissioner magician of all time. Because if he done that, if he was able to get Oregon, what if you got Oregon and Washington? What if you got Colorado, Arizona, Oregon, and Washington? I think the Big Ten may try to come in and block that, but there's a lot of backroom stuff as far as Oregon and Washington go regarding the Big Ten. It's been rumored that USC does not want any more Western teams over there. I don't understand that thinking. I do actually understand it a little bit because USC is tired of Oregon coming into California and taking their shit. Basically, Oregon just comes in and takes recruits from USC all the time. And, we've talked ad nauseum about the farce and the false prophet Lincoln Riley saying there's going to build a wall around California, and that wall has been... It's been pretty weak. In the end, like I said in a previous podcast, I think the Big Ten will come in. If Colorado goes through today and joins the Big 12, it'll give the Big Ten the green light and have their little conscience cleared because they're trying to be all self-righteous about it and say, we don't want to have the blood of the Pac-12 on our hands. We don't want to be the cause for the Pac-12 to disappear because of our little Rose Bowl, Stockholm Syndrome relationship that we had for so long. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Big Ten, you're not fooling anybody. You 150% absolutely, most definitely have Pac-12 blood on your hands. You the one that fired the first shot. I know, blah, blah, blah. USC and UCLA contacted us. Give me a break. Kevin Warren and the Big Ten got with the ACC and the Pac-12 and talked them into not expanding and not raiding anybody. Which all that was Kevin Warren and the Big Ten getting their ducks in a row. And they were probably likely behind the scenes with USC doing some shady stuff because that's what USC does. And talked the Pac-12 out of raiding the Big 12 when they could have. They had a chance to actually kill the Big 12. And they turned their noses up. And Stanfords and Cal's of the world, no. Those schools, they don't meet our academia prowess. We all know these conferences are predicated on athletics. So that snooty attitude is probably going to cost a few of y'all. Stanford and Cal, most notably. I don't know where they're going to end up. Maybe the Big Ten will take them in. But it's going to be really close. But I would like to see the Big 12 get Oregon and Washington. That'd be great because to me, if they were able to do that, the Big 12 would suddenly become a viable part of maybe a Big 3, maybe even approaching the Big 10 as the second best conference down the road, especially with Oregon and Washington in tow as far as TV revenue and whatnot. USC's got a great market, but Oregon and Washington together, that might counteract that a little bit. So the Big 10 better get on the ball and invite Oregon and Washington if Colorado leaves today. And I think that's what will happen. Oregon and Washington will go to the Big Ten. They'll get Colorado. Arizona will follow. And then the obvious other two would be Arizona State and Utah, in my opinion. But Oregon State could come in there and steal the other spot. Unless they're willing to take 5 of them. Maybe even 6. I don't know. We shall see. But like Greg Swain said in his tweet, this shit's about to hit the fan today. Get your popcorn. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also, there's a little heart down here with a little $sign in the middle if you want to hit that for a one-time donation. Throw a few dollars in the coffers. Also, you can join the Outlaw Posse, as I said before, and get some perks. Get your badge, get deputized, and I'm going to add some more perks later. That's not but $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. Just hit the join button and subscribe button, and you'll be deputized and be a part of the Outlaw Posse. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.